Hey guys, what is up? I am back on my channel, and today I'm going to be ranking all 17 legendaries from Clash Royale today. And remember, this is all my opinion, so before we get into this video, I'd like to ask you to like the video and click the subscribe button for more content like this. So, without further ado, let's get into number 17. For number 17, I chose the Fisherman. Just because he used to be a good card when he first came out, but nowadays he's not doing so great in the meta because he sucks. To me, his hit points is like 880, and damage is only 176, which is really weak. And I just don't understand that bad of a card. Number 16, I chose the Lava Hound. It's a great tank for like other cards, but it has to be supported with just like something behind it. Its hit points are 3,811, and the damage is 54, if I can remember correctly. And it's a great tank, but its attack is just not that great. So now I move on to number 15, the Royal Ghost. I chose this one because it's a good card, but it's just not as good as some of the other legendaries. Its hit points are 1,100, and damage is 131 per hit that he does. I like the invisibility of him, I like that power, but there's just some things about him, like he'll miss something. It's just a really hard card to like play on time. Number 14, I chose the Ice Wizard, just because he's not that powerful at all, but he's a great support guy like a lot of other cards in the game. He slows enemy troops down, but he's just not good for like damage, because his damage is only 90 and 13. And as we move on to number 13, I chose the Ram Rider. I chose her because it's a really hard card to play, especially on timing and stuff. You gotta make sure that when you're using her, you gotta get her full potential. Her hit points are only like 1,600, and damage is only like 242, maybe 500, something like that. But that's all for the Ram Rider, so let's move on to number 12. Number 12, I chose the Sparky. Sparky is a good card. He has huge amounts of hit damage, and his hit points is good, but it's a really easy card to counter with Zap or Electro Wizard or Lightning, Rocket. His hit points are only like 1,300, and damage is 1,200. So, great card, but let's move on to number 11. I chose the Magic Archer. He's an extremely hard card to play, but I feel like the hit points of him and the damage, it's good, but it's just not the best. The geometry is nice to have, but you just gotta watch where you're playing him, basically. As we move into the top 10, I chose the Graveyard. The Graveyard is a good card. They come out of the ground perfectly. Like, you can use a whole bunch of other cards, like a giant tank or something, or whatever you need basically to use it. And it just destroys towers if you have the right stuff to use it with, like the miner or a giant or any other like thing that can really help. And I come into number 9. I chose the Inferno Dragon. His hit points is anywhere from 1,000 to 1,200, and his damage goes from 33 to 385 damage. That's a pretty great card to have in your deck if you're using it correctly and you have the right deck to fit it in. So I'm coming into number 8 category. I chose the Mega Knight. The Mega Knight is a great card to have. He's not someone that you should place in the backup. He should be used only when you need him, like for huge amounts of troops, or like to defend things. His hit points and damage just makes it. Hit points, is health is over 3,000. Just a very nice card overall. And I come into number 7. I chose the Lumberjack. The Lumberjack is a very nice card to go with, like the Lava Hound or the Balloon, other things like that. Basically, it's a good card, especially because of the rage that he spills after he dies, so it can help other troops get the tower and just make other moves, destroy enemies. And that's basically what I think about the Lumberjack. And as we move into number 6, I chose the Log for number 6. Damage for this is 264 damage. It's a very nice card to use. I feel like it's one of the most used spells in the entire game. For only 2 elixir, you're getting a lot of damage. You can take out goblins, skeletons, even other like tanks to push back and stuff. But this is just another one of those cards where you have to use it correctly. So as I come into number 5, the top 5, I chose the Night Witch. She's a great support card, just not very good for attacking, but the bats she spawns behind other tanks is just nice. And the damage you get from it is 286 damage for every time she attacks. And that's what I think about the Night Witch. So that's why she's at number 5. As I come into number 4, I chose the E-Wizard, the Electro Wizard. He's another great attack card, but also good for defense. It works very well if you have, like, for smaller enemies and resetting Sparky and Inferno Dragon, Inferno Towers, just like anything like that. But that's just a card that you use only when you really need him. Just keep him in your deck, in your hand, until you know the right time to use it. As we come into the top 3, I chose the Bandit for number 3. She's a great card to use against like Sparky or Inferno Tower. Her dash damage is amazing. It just gives it so much power, but you just gotta remember, don't like abuse the dash thing, her dash ability, because that just ruins the entire purpose of using the Bandit. So as I come into number 2, I chose the Miner. The Miner is one of the most used legendary cards so far in this meta. It works good with Graveyard, it works good with the Balloon, it can work good with like almost any cards, and the damage is only 160 per hit, but his hit points is just 1,000. Great card to get extra damage on the tower. Like, say you have like 10 seconds left on the clock and you need to get a tower, you can chip some damage and then you can use a big spell like lightning or something to like destroy the tower and keep battling or win the game. That's why he is at number 2. And number 1, my personal favorite card in the game, I chose the Princess. It's her range is great. I like the fact that she can stay behind the line of the bridge and not get hit. The log and a lot of other things can kill her really easily, but her defense tactics and stuff like that is just very nice to have. This is a card that you really need to have good placement and good timing on for the princess, because she's a smaller card, good for attacking air and ground, but that is why she is at number 1 on this ranking legendaries video. So, thank you guys for tuning in to this week's video, and leave a like on the video, subscribe if you want to, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace out, everybody. I will see you next time.